So let's go through each and every single one of these panels one by one, and I'll explain what they are. The first panel here on the top left corner you can see is scenes. Essentially, these are like baskets. Think of a picnic blanket, and that picnic blanket is essentially your broadcast or your program feed. Each and every single one of these scenes is like presenting a new basket onto that blanket where everybody sees that inside of the stream or in your recording. And I can go ahead and remove that basket and put in a separate basket or a different scene, and all of a sudden things look and sound different. And so I can basically select one scene at a time, and depending upon what you want to design on each of those scenes, you're going to select those scenes accordingly. So think of it as that way. Now the buttons on the scene panel are pretty simple. I'm going to go through them. The first one is a plus symbol. This basically creates a new scene, and by default you can see it allows me to rename this, so I can call this screen share as an example. And then I can go ahead and keep creating new ones. Now, if I want to, I can also hit this second button and duplicate it. So let's say, for example, this is a camera scene and I had some certain elements on it that I want to duplicate. I want to create another scene based on this exact same layout. And so I can just select that scene and hit the second button and hit duplicate. And then it says copy of me, and then I could say this is the me too scene, right? This is the second scene of me, and I can make those changes and adjustments. The third button here is basically called a group button or a folder button. So if I wanted to put a bunch of different scenes inside of a specific folder because it's a slightly different brand or something like that, then I can go ahead and click on here and just call this company 1, and then I can just drag each of these scenes over into company 1, and then later on I could go ahead and click and create something called company 2, and then you'll see by accident it's actually under the same company 1 folder, so you can have subfolders, but I'm going to just move it out until you see the full square, and now company 2 is there. So if I am inside the company 2 setting, I can go and call this me again and change this to my main camera. So you can see that we're now nesting different scenes inside of different folders, so you can organize things more efficiently for yourself. Now this next button here is called automatic group. Essentially, when you create an automatic group here, and I'm just going to move it out to itself, essentially you can create multiple different scenes in this automatic group and then set that group for timing so that it cycles through each and every single one of those scenes automatically based on an interval that you set. So let me move this me camera under here, this me too camera, and this screen share. So let's edit this screen share so that it actually shows something. It's actually a little Jeopardy keynote file that I have on my other display. And so now we have, let's say, these two scenes. Actually, I'm going to remove this because that's actually just a duplicate. So if I have these two different scenes and I want to cycle through them automatically, you'll now see that there's a little settings wheel, and I can say advance to the next scene, timed interval, either in a random time range, so every 5 to 10 seconds, or I can say every 3 seconds. I'm going to switch between each of these, and it's going to go through a cross dissolve transition. So I can say go to the next scene, and that's it. So it's going to go from one to the next. So if I go ahead and let's say I am up here on the regular scenes, and I go ahead and hit play here, what ends up happening is it moves to this first scene. 3 seconds later, it moves to the second scene. So you can see how now it just goes back and forth between these two scenes. So it's going to, and if I had 3, it would go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 every 3 seconds. And I can go ahead and hit pause if I want to stop that process. Now, the benefit of using something like this would be if you are a musician and you have both hands used, and you're playing your keyboard or you're playing the drums, and you can't go to your computer system to change these scenes manually. So this automatic grouping was created for you to do that. So it would switch between, the overhead camera of your hands playing versus the side camera, and you're still playing, and then the front camera. So we had actually a lot of musicians ask for something like this. So this is kind of a neat little feature that you now have there. This next button here on the scenes panel is export selected scenes. So you can go ahead and save a specific scene with all the different overlays and all the different settings you have on that scene, and you can export that one single scene so that you can either import it to another computer system that you have running Ecamm Live, or you can go ahead and share that scene with other individuals simply by sending them that exported file. They'll import that file, double click on it, and then that specific scene is imported into their profile. Now, this is different from profile exports, and that's in a different video. It's only the single scene, whereas a profile takes the entire profile with all of the scenes and all of the assets except videos, and then that sends it out to an exported file. But you can export single scenes from there. Last but not least, the last button is the delete button. So you can either go ahead and select one of the scenes and hit the delete button, in which it's going to prompt you to hit the delete button, or you can select the scene and you'll see it's outlined in white. You can just drag that over to the trash bin, and then that one will automatically delete that specific scene that you dragged over. So the key thing to remember about these scenes is that you can present one scene at a time in your recording or through your live stream production, and you can either click on the scene itself by clicking on the little tiny thumbnail, like that little thumbnail or this thumbnail, or if you have something called a stream deck by a company called Elgato, or a loop deck, which has these hotkeys or these specific physical buttons, we can configure those devices to automatically choose one of these scenes. It's a little bit, I would say, it's not advanced, but it's very, very, very helpful, and it's a really good investment. And the link is in the description below. That will take you to a video all about that. I hope you're really enjoying this Ecamm Live Masterclass, because this has been an absolute joy for me to actually create. And the reason why is because I just love Ecamm Live, and I love the whole aspect of content creation, and I hope that you do as well. So please go ahead, leave some comments below. Let me know how you feel about this. Let me know if you have other questions about the specific topic that I'm sharing in this video. And another thing that I really want you to do right now is I want you to go ahead and scan this QR code or click the link in the description below, because this is where I'm going to be housing not only just this Ecamm Live Masterclass, but a lot of cool extras that are not going to be found on YouTube. So you have to register for absolutely for free in order to grab this content. It's in my member portal. So go ahead, scan the QR code or click the link in the description, and I will see you on the other side. Now, back to the regular show. And that wraps it up for the scenes panel. The next panel is going to be very, very important for you to understand. So you want to make sure that you click over here on that link to get to that next video. And it's all about the overlays panel.